All right, welcome back, everybody, to Eric Hunting from Parts Unknown. This is with my sweetheart, Anissa,
Hello.
and this is going to be a review and breakdown of PvP's annual 20-man battle Royal Rumble or Rumble. Happened September 24th, 2022, and this was a wild night from start to finish.
Yes, it was.
We've said some of that about other shows before. You know, it was on fire from start to finish. This was one of the most up shows PvP has had in a long time, and that's even coming back at the Resurrection show. That was an amazing show, but this one, the crowd was into it from start to finish. The performers were into it there was not one low point all night.
No.
Even the intermission was crazy.
We didn't even get a breather match.
No, there was no downs. There was no. It was just crazy. Non-stop action from start to finish. I mean, even just waiting to get in, and then you can hear everybody clamoring, wanting to get in. Let's go, let's open up the doors. They finally open the doors. You're walking in, and we're getting greeted by Alex Cypher. Well, that's because it was his night. He was
chipper.
He was happy because it was his night. He was put in charge for the night by the one and only John Roy, who has said that this show was going to be in charge of by Alex Cypher, and then the next show Matthew James will be in charge of. If this one was as crazy as it was, I can't wait to see what October brings. That's for sure. Because there's going to be a lot of retaliation points in that show.
Not just that, we knew we were in for some kind of crazy night just because Alex Cypher was happy.
Yeah.
That man is never happy, and he was happy, and that scared me.
He's not even happy with his children.
Well, we've seen that.
But it was just, he came in and you get to one of the landings, and he says, "Come on, dance with me, Eric. We're celebrating my night." And all the things not to celebrate is Alex Cypher's night. But
bless.
His night was something from start to finish. It really was. It may not have gone exactly the way he had planned.
That's not how I put it. He was on his bullshit.
He certainly was. He was a snake oil salesman from the word get go. That's for sure.
That smile gives you pause because we don't see it often.
Yeah, you see it, you're concerned. Mm-hmm. There's something not right. So that was just how we walked in. Then we got our seats and everything else, and went around, said our hellos to our people, and
we love PvP people.
Yeah, we love our PvP family. It's not just a hashtag. It's a living, breathing thing. It really is, and we hate missing the ones that aren't there anymore, that can't be, but they were there. They were there in spirit. They really were.
And other family members representing those that weren't there.
Yeah, this is true. Yep. We need to recognize our ring announcer, Cameron Coe. This kid, he nails it every time. He really does.
He just gets sharper and sharper.
He really does. He's doing a lot better doing his, getting the sponsors in, and
it's much more seamless and smooth.
He's really getting better, and I like seeing that.
Yeah,
he doesn't seem to be nervous anymore. He's making eye contact with fans now and stuff. He's not just looking at the paper.
And genuine smiles, not forced.
Yeah. It's not because the tie is too tight.
He seems happy to be there.
We had 2.5 refs this night. We had our good buddy Miggy Stripes.
Yay, my favorite.
You gotta love Miggy Stripes.
I do.
And then we had a new ref. This was his first time reffing, and that was Ref Max. That's all I could get out of him.
But we were happy to see him. And so thank you.
At another point,
we'll get into that.
There was a
spoilers
interim referee. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But we also have to thank Nicole and Dakota.
Yeah. Nicole and Dakota run the table, welcoming people in, getting them their seats, for
adding
their ticket sales,
seats, straightening
getting
seats
out. They step it up every time, and they do what needs to be done. There was also a sound guy / bell ringer, and that was Nick Schultz. He did the best he could. I'll leave it at that.
Go Pack, go.
I bust on Nick because I can.
He's a good fellow.
He's a good dude. He's one of my buddies. And like we said, Cypher was right off the races.
Continuing
and then
his bullshit.
Before we really started the night, we were graced with, I don't know if you call it karaoke or not, but we got a pretty piss poor rendition of "My Way" by Alex Cypher. And
no, that wasn't. That was a cappella. That was. I mean, respect for doing that. That takes a lot of guts. But heavens, it was an assault. It was an assault to our senses. But I think that made his smile even more bright. Was because
which is more bothersome.
Yeah.
But he
survived.
But with him coming out and he sang his song, and then he was talking about how this is his day and all that, and he kind of ran down some of the things that were going to be happening through the night, and then he had one Mr. Hammer Tunis came wheeling out, and I say wheeling because unforeseen circumstances, which this sucks for anybody, especially somebody who's finally made a comeback after a long period of time, suffered an injury to his calf muscle, and he just won the PvP championship 2 months ago, or 2 or 3 months ago, whichever, and then he just won the tag team championships. And this wasn't even an in-ring happening, but which this sucks because it puts him back on the shelf.
He may not be my favorite person, but I do respect him, and I also hate this for him, and I hate this for us because those of us who may respect him, may not like him, may have wanted to see that belt taken from him in the ring, not him having to give it up. I'd rather see his ass kicked from ring post to ring post, and have I don't know, somebody else take it from him than him having to relinquish it in this way.
Yeah,
I don't wish anybody ill will, but I do wish ass kickings.
He went on a tirade. There were people cheering him. There were people booing him, and some of the boos were closer than others. But that,
and I've never wavered.
He did end up at the end of all his jibber jabber and talking that he ended up relinquishing the title, which I know on a personal level that had to have been painful because he fought so hard for that to come back from a knee injury, and then
storyline for that.
Yeah, we've been building this, and then we lost it for 2 years, for 2.5 years to the pandemic. We lost our storyline. They've come back and they revamped it to the point where they are, and then now we got to retool again. But the retooling of last night was
pretty sharp.
Amazing. They did one hell of a job. I've said it before on here, and it's something about PvP is they are good at tightening the screws and hitting all the points when it comes to their storytelling.
It's not sloppy.
They tell us very good story from start to finish as best that they can, and when they get hit with unexpected things, they do it in a way that makes sense. And last night they did it in a way that made sense.
And it was fantastic.
It was
the
you know,
payoff
there were surprises, there was explosions, there was no smoke alarms this time.
No firefighters.
different show, different promotion, but some of the same players. But what was determined was going to happen, instead of this being a number one contenders match at the Rumble, the Rumble is now, for the first time in PvP history, is going to be for the title. So whoever wins the 20-man over-the-top Rumble is going to win.
It's for all the marbles.
For the big marble, for the PvP championship, which is really a really tight-looking championship now. And, it was there was a couple of matches that they were going to determine the placing of certain people, whether they're going to be number 1, which is not a desired spot, 2, which is not to be a desired spot, or the number 20 spot, which is highly desired.
Well, the only 2 and 20 were the only ones that were being determined. Number 1 was made official at the last match.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for him, Scotty Wilde, he was the unlucky dog that got number 1. And that's why
some of the details will slip me, but
that's why you have me.
That's why I have a tag team partner. So tag. So we're gonna get right into this now. 12 minutes later. For our first match was a singles match, where this is where Scotty Wilde came in, because this match was to determine whether or not Scotty Wilde was going to be in the Rumble, and that was versus Bobby Ocean. It was Scotty Wilde versus Bobby Ocean. The winner will stay in the Rumble. The loser is out of the Rumble.
Right, and that stipulation was actually made at ringside by Cypher.
Right, yeah. Because
that was one of his gleeful.
That was because it was part of his day. He said, because it's my day, I can do what I want. And he's got Scotty Wilde is a thorn in his paw. And he thought he was going to pull one over on Scotty Wilde. And after when I saw this match came up, this was a match that was actually a cause of card subject to change.
Yes.
Because originally it was supposed to be Scotty Wilde versus Chris Benet, the tracksuit brute, the godfather of the chokeslam.
Chris Benet, also Cypher's heavy.
One of his guys. Well, unforeseen circumstances, health issues prevented Chris from coming up from New York.
Get better, Chris.
Yeah, get well soon, brother. So his replacement was hard-hitting Bobby Ocean. And if you're going to replace anybody with Bobby Ocean, now you're going to have a banger of a match.
Yes.
Not that Chris couldn't do that, but it's a different match. It's a different style. And these are two styles that really complement each other. It's not a contrast in styles, which usually works in a different way. But they complement each other, where they just go, and there's the right amount of flip flop and fly, there's the right amount of chain wrestling, and there's the right amount of, all right, I'm gonna knock your teeth out, literally.
But let's just say, hopefully in the future we do get to see that match.
With Chris,
yes.
Hell yeah, I want to see that match. And who's to say we won't, because of later on in the night. So
spoilers,
I'm not there yet, but Bobby Ocean put up one hell of a fight, and so did Scotty Wilde, and Scotty Wilde ended up pulling it out.
Phrasing.
Yeah. We got a little bit of color in this match. There was a little bit of blood. It was accidental. It was, not that anybody ever really bleeds on purpose, but it it was not a it was an accident. That's all it was.
And it was so subtle that you really didn't even
know that it happened.
Bobby Ocean is such a professional that it wasn't until
the match was over
that we realized that anything happened.
But luckily, again, Mickey Stripes was the ref on this match, and he was quick to react, and he went and he got something to help Bobby out, and we ended up getting it taken care of. But like I said, Scotty Wilde ended up pulling this one out, so he gets to stay in the Rumble at number one. But still, he's still in the Rumble.
But way to be exhausted because of that match.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this was the first match, and we're like, all right, night's over. This brings us to match number 2. That's for you, Mickey. And that was, oh boy, this guy, Jordan Rowe, the Grapple God, Snapple God, versus RJ Rude. Again, we've talked about this before on here, and we'll talk about it again now. But he was formerly a part of Insanely Rude, great, amazing, high flying tag team, and
for whatever reason,
Zane Bernardo has gone gone away from wrestling. Yeah. He's gone to do other things. Good luck to him and whatever he does. But RJ Rude is continuing on, and now he's a singles wrestler
the
Pop Punk Devil, and he is proving himself to be so good. He's
captivating.
You can't. I don't know that I got a whole lot of pictures of this match just because I was just watching.
I did.
Listen, I do what I can. All right, I'm a one-man show with a tag team partner.
Yep. But I think it's because I really, really like RJ Rude.
He's so good. He's so good.
Every time I see him, I like him more.
Yep.
I like his style. I like his focus to attention. And his respect for other wrestlers. I think he's somebody to watch.
Yeah, he really is. And it was seen as a tag team, that he was that way. It's just now he's himself. It's all on him.
Not everybody can transition like that and do so well.
And he's doing a hell of a job. What a match. I mean,
we're going to say that, but we mean it.
But we give Jordan Rowe the business because, well, you're supposed to. It's the character that he is. He's the bad guy. You're supposed to give him the business.
I mean, people that are full of themselves. But he can back it up.
This kid is talented. The reason he's full of himself is he's got a lot to be full of. He's young, but he's smooth as heck. He's so good. And that sucks because you want to boo him, but it's like, how do you boo that? He's so good.
Those two wrestlers together put on a fire match.
Yeah, they did.
They are, yeah. I hope we get to see, unfortunately, more of him, but I am so glad that we will see more of RJ Rude.
I think he said it himself in a post, and I'll put it here because I commented on it, that he feels that PvP is becoming his home. Well,
welcome home.
Welcome home, because the door's open, brother. So it was a hell of a match, and RJ took out the win, and that was great. And but again, it was a hard fought match. It could have gone either way.
Yes.
I mean, there were some shenanigans from Jordan Rowe. Of course, he's gonna find a shortcut if he can.
I mean, if he's in the match, it's a given.
But then, like Anissa said, he shows respect to the other performers, other wrestlers, and he tried at the end of the match. He tried to shake hands. Jordan Rowe shook his hand, but then he clotheslined him, and
boo,
and knocked him for a loop. But it is what it is. I guess he'll get his. But like I said, RJ Rude ended up getting the win on that one.
Yay!
And then our third match was a tag team match. So our first entrants were Dan the Man and Brother Greatness representing the Mission.
It may all be all about the Mission, but heavens to Betsy.
Mission sucks.
I think they really need to rewrite that book.
There's something about that book of Nanos. I think the words are wrong in it.
Yes.
And their opponents were Waves and Curls. Right there. Waves and Curls.
Yes.
Trayvon Jordan and Brandon.
Talk about stars in the making.
The only thing missing was a smoke machine when the Mission came out. But, we didn't want another replay of the Test of Strength show. It's just those guys, Waves and Curls, from the first note of their music. It just barely started playing and the place erupted and it was a dance party. It really was. Everybody was up, everybody's jumping, everybody, and Trayvon Jordan's like 8.5 feet tall. And then, he comes flying out, and then they got a confetti pop gun that I saw it, and it still surprised the heck out of me. I was like, oh, shit.
They are a party.
Yeah, they are.
They're not a joke.
No, they're not a comedy team. They're not they have fun.
But they're serious in the match.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, can they go.
And they're proving it. They're everywhere. Not only are they a PvP, they've been at, I believe they've been to Grind. They've been to Wrestling Open and Beyond. They've been to AEW. They've been on Dark. So these kids are...
More eyes need to be on them.
No, these guys are really proving themselves, and they're amazing talents. And
they make my heart happy when I see them.
You can't help but smile watching these guys wrestle. You can't. If you're booing these guys, well, you're just a stick in the mud. There's something wrong with you. Or you're part of the mission.
There's a lot wrong.
But
I have to say, Brother Greatness, I'm sorry. There's something about him that I usually lean heel. I really do. And there's something about Brother Greatness that I just adore.
He's nutsy cuckoo.
Maybe. Well, at times I can be too. So perhaps that's what it is. But I don't know. Those crazy eyes get to me every time.
And he loses, and he scoots down before Dan the Man even sees that he's gone. Because
he's not stupid.
Waves and Curls took out the win. And, happy to see that. These guys deserve the win.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
And a win in the tag team division. That tells me that puts you in contention. And we don't know what's going on with the tag team belts now.
Right.
Hopefully that's going to have to be addressed soon because of Hammer being injured. Because at the last show, at the Zombie Hideout, he and Bacon, the closers, won the tag team belts over Perfect Gamble. So,
boo.
So, something needs to be addressed there, and I'm sure that the powers that be are addressing those issues as we speak. I hope.
I would think so. Yeah, they're pretty good about that.
Like I said, they know how to tighten up the screws on their stories, so I'm sure that's the one that's going to be addressed. But we had to get over this hump first.
Yeah, as the cliche goes, they cross all their T's and they dot all their I's. Yeah. They know what's what.
So then that brings out our fourth match. We're moving right along on this sort of match-wise. Is another singles match. This is one that was supposed to happen at the Zombie Hideout, but due to injuries, Sammy Diaz was not able to come in. He was replaced by SWB, Slick Wagner Brown, and this match was revisited, or actually visited, because it didn't happen at the last show. So
right, and boy, was I happy to see that.
Logan Black, everybody knows how I feel about Logan Black. That's my guy. Yeah. But out came Sammy Diaz, top 5, dead or alive. That kid, we were just talking about this. This kid is a star in the making. This kid really is going to be somebody. He is not long for the indie scene. this kid is going to be on your TV sometime soon. I don't know. I don't want to give a timeline, but I'm saying he's going to be on your TV soon. I believe that in all my heart. I've said it about a couple other people.
His eyes.
The way he came back from this injury in 2 different promotions proves that.
Yeah.
You know,
he wants
something.
He
last
wants
show at Test of Strength, you could see that he wanted this, and and then at this match, him and Logan put on a banger of a match. This match was just so amazing. It had everything, and I believe I said it for the last PvP show that we reviewed, that Logan has been proving himself that he doesn't have to just be that hardcore guy. You know, he's doing more wrestling. He still fights. He's still gonna knock you for a loop, but he's not just about the forks or the thumbtacks or the chairs and barbed wire.
He's an all-around guy. He can do it all.
He's proving to all those people that think that that's all he is, that's not all he is.
If they think that's all he is, they haven't been paying attention.
Right. And this match was proof of that. This match was a great wrestling match. It really was.
This match was definitely in my contention for match of the night.
If it's not in the conversation, then we're not thinking about it right. Because it's a hell of a match.
It's a good and bad thing that pretty much every match last night is in contention for this. Yeah. There was no ho hum match.
Oh, not at all. Now, yeah, as good as this match was, listen, I'm loving Sammy Diaz, but my heart goes with Logan Black. No matter what match he's in, he could be bad guy too, and I'm still gonna. It's just that's our friend. That's my guy. Yeah. That's who he is, and I will always back him. Unfortunately, he came out with the L on this one. Sammy Diaz took it,
but you can't be too disappointed.
It was well-deserved win. You can't slight Sammy on that win, and he also got the backing and the voting of Logan Black saying, if you back me, you back this guy. And okay, you know what? When the leader of the pack speaks,
Logan Black is such a respectable man. Yeah. He really is. And to get that vote of confidence for Sammy Diaz made, again, my heart happy. Yep. Because from the first time I've seen him wrestle at Blitzkrieg, that's the first time I saw Sammy Diaz. Yep. I took notice. Yep. And that's what he does. And every time I see him wrestle, I like him even more. Yeah.
He pulls something new out that just catches you. He really does.
He's got a fire in his belly. He really does.
He's got it. Well, he should see a doctor about that.
But he's talented, and I really like him. He's quickly becoming one of my favorites.
And this brings us to our fifth match, and it was a risk or reward match. The winner will be number 20 in the entrance of the Rumble. The loser will be number 2, which is an undesired spot because you got to be in there for the whole time. And this match is another match that was supposed to be seen at another show, at the last show, but due to travel issues, we weren't able to see one of the combatants, and so this match was.
And he was all apologies.
Yeah, he's apologizing to us.
He owes us anything.
It's all right. Bobby Ocean took your spot, and he did all right. So we got a good show out of it. But
it's Bobby Ocean.
So then we had. Cypher came out and was saying that Miggy Stripes worked himself a little too hard. He needs to take a break, go get a drink of water, and sit down and relax because we have the Rumble coming up.
Which confused the heck out of Miggy.
So you go do that, and we're going to pick another ref. And he says, maybe we'll have somebody from the audience be a referee. I raised my hand. He said no. But, and come to find out, over in the end of this front row over here was the recently suspended ref, Mr. Jason Tunis, was sitting there as a fan, bought a ticket. He's sitting there to enjoy the show. And he and Hammer, who wheeled himself out again, chose him to be the ref.
Chagrin.
He didn't even want to do it. He knew that he was,
But it's Cypher's day.
It's Cypher's day. Cypher wanted. Yep. So these were more of the shenanigans that Cypher was trying. He was trying to stack the deck. And because the two people that were in this match were Nico Silva.
Yay!
Who we love Nico Silva. And we have not seen since he got suspended pre-COVID. He got suspended, and then we all got suspended.
Yeah.
And then
it's Cypher's fault.
Yeah, well, gotta blame somebody.
Good person to blame.
And it was going to be Nico Silva versus Big Bacon Brad Hollister.
Boo.
And for some reason, I don't even know why. Maybe I missed something at the last show. I don't remember. But Bacon had a patch over one of his eyes, and I don't understand what happened there. Maybe he got some bacon fat in his eye. I don't know. Man, he's gonna see this and kill me.
He just wanted to be a pirate for a day.
So he, but it. Listen, like him, don't like him. It's gonna be a hell of a show. It's gonna be a hell of a match. It really is. And so Bacon versus Nico with special referee Jason Tunis trying to stack the deck against Nico Silva.
You knew something rotten was going on.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't just the bacon.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. So then, as the match went on, we're playing games. I think a Kane game, not Nissa's Kane either.
I don't give that up willingly.
Somebody used Hammer's cane, and there were shenanigans and involved, and Bacon ended up coming out with the W.
Where the closers are involved, there's always going to be shenanigans.
Fair. So Bacon wins the entrance of number 20, and Nico loses, so he gets the entrance of number 2 into the Rumble.
Was anybody shocked by that?
No,
I wasn't.
No, that was kind of a foregone conclusion.
I mean, we could have skipped the whole thing, but I wouldn't want to because
it was a great match.
I always enjoy seeing Nico Silva wrestle.
Yeah, it was good to see him back. It really was. It was great to see him, and
he looks great.
He hasn't missed a beat. I mean, the night before at a different promotion, he won a championship in a ladder match. So the fact that he showed up and was able to move at all says something.
Yeah.
So then, with all that said, we had intermission. They gave us a 20-minute intermission. I think that was because the next match is the Rumble,
right?
So we had to get all their ducks in a row, and
well, there were 20 of them.
Yeah, there were 20 of them, and it was something. But we needed to take a breath because it was a wild first half of the night, and all of that action did not stop. I mean, they barely took 30 seconds between each match. It was crazy.
And even the intermission, you thought, wow, the whole night just went by in a blink.
Yeah, it did. It was like, really? That was that long? It didn't seem like it, but it was well worth it. So usually at a PvP show, they'll do their first half, which is usually like 4 matches, and then they'll do intermission, and they'll have like 2 matches, sometimes 3, depending on what is happening. But this being the Rumble, this was the main event, and it was just going to be this match after the intermission. And
I don't think we could have handled another match.
You couldn't have put anything else on that.
It was well paced. It was a smart
the I don't know exactly how I want to do this, but I think we'll just go down as the way people entered, and then we'll kind of go over what kind of stood out to us, and then we'll do some of the do the eliminations, as in kind of order, I guess. So as we already spoke of, Scotty Wilde was going to be number one. That was already determined at a previous show. Nico Silva lost that previous match.
And just those two there alone. Well, say number 3 too.
And then number 3 come out RJ Rude.
Woohoo! You would not have known that those 3 men
just wrestled
and wrestled well.
Yeah. And then out came Brother Greatness. That fucking guy, I'm telling you. And then a newcomer in the number 5 spot, I wouldn't say a new favorite, but somebody for us to keep our eye on is Mr. Stray Cat.
Kitty booty.
I knew it was coming. This kid, he come up from, he said he's from New Jersey, but he trains with Logan Black. Well,
you know what? That's a smart move on his part.
We also were able to determine that he was one of Chris Benet's goons at the Zombie Hideout event.
So he's pulling double duty.
So he's working his way up the card. He got himself in a match, and you know what? He did pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
He did pretty good. So we got Stray Cat. Then out come one of the first surprises of returning legends, I guess, was H2O Ryan Waters.
That I was shocked.
I heard the first notes of Frankenstein, and I was like, I want to be Ryan Waters, and I got up, and
sure enough,
there he was, and he didn't miss a step. That guy is on fire. I don't think you'll see him do it again tomorrow, but
he is moderately adequate
and has not missed the beat.
Exactly.
You find what works and you stick with it.
But I love the fact that the feud between Nico Silva and Ryan Waters was as soon as he stepped in, he made a beeline for him, and they
long-term storyline telling. That's a match that has taken place over the 5 years that we've been going to PvP.
And I was so excited to see it.
They split and they fought and they had a retirement match and they have this and then the comeback and all these other things have happened over the past few years. 2 years off with the pandemic. And we come back. We haven't seen Nico because he got suspended. We haven't seen Ryan Waters in forever. Because he retired. Bullshit. And he comes back for this, and the first person he goes after is Nico Silva.
And I loved it.
And that's that great storytelling that I love.
There's a T crossed.
Yep, you're right. And then another legend come out, and that was Doc Heresy.
Yeah, how can you not dance?
Everybody gets up and does that. I love it. I love Doc Heresy. He's great.
Seeing him in his scrubs.
Yeah. And the thing about him is maybe not this match per se, but usually when he comes out, I think I said it before, he's like the oldest guy out there, and he's taking more bumps than everybody else.
Yeah.
He's putting on more work than anybody else.
I'm sorry, someone who is that age and is still wrestling has to be a little crazy. No offense to you. I respect you, but I do question.
And then out came Ala Ding Ding.
Bless. But he was one of the first people we ever saw.
He was because he was in the very first match that we saw at PvP was him versus his brother under different names at the time, and it was a shot for shot match, and it was a brother.
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about that.
I don't really care. What's he gonna do? Come up to me? I don't think so.
Eric Raymond.
But that was when we were introduced to him over 5 years ago, and they kind of
seen him in
we've seen him other places, and they have different characters now, but it's fun. These guys are actually pretty talented, and it's fun to see them. So that was Ala Ding Ding, and then this is another one where the music hit, and I oh, and that's when Aaron Morrison came out. Ace of Spades hit, and I jumped out of my seat.
He legit popped.
I jumped out of my seat, and
I haven't seen him enough to know what his music is.
Yeah.
But when you told me, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. No, the Star Maker came, and man, he put on a heck of a show. He took some bumps.
Yeah.
He took some bumps, and then Aladdin came out. Well,
there's one. There's generally
if you got Aladdin, then you got Aladdin, and Aladdin came out. So now you have the Pyramids of Power out there, and they were, when you're in a rumble, at least you have somebody watching your back, and it kind of helps.
At least you hope.
Yeah. Well, with those two, you never know.
Exactly.
And then another legend come out, and that was he come out to Doc Harris's music, which threw me for a loop. I thought Doc was coming back out again, and that's when Marshall McNeil come out. Who I love Marshall. He's a good dude. He's a good guy.
And there were chants of
EWA.
Not ERA, but EWA. I don't know why.
Because you had a lot of EWA guys out there.
Sorry, I screwed you up.
And then one of our new favorites, Sammy Diaz, come out in the 12th spot.
I was very excited.
Which, and again, some people had been eliminated by all this time, but we'll get over all that. But
yes, because it would have been really crowded if nobody had
been. Oh yeah. It wasn't a 20-man battle royal where they all started together. It was a rumble. They came out every 90 seconds, and so after Sammy Diaz came Logan Black. So after their match that they had, they kind of had a little bit of kinship now, so they kind of buddied up a little bit, but they also didn't mind going off against each other either.
And that's also a sign of respect.
Yeah. And then one half of Waves and Curl come out, Jalen Brandon, who is he's the
equally talented.
He's the smaller of the two, but
still taller than me. Anybody who stands next to Trey is going to look
be small.
Tiny.
You're
because
small.
that man, bless him,
he's 8.5 feet tall.
With a personality to match.
So after Jalen Brandon come out, came 50 Cal.
Sorry, nothing against him. I hate everything 80s. I am not a fan. I lived through it once. I don't want to live through it again. I'm sorry. Get a new gimmick.
I like 50 Cal. He's all right. He looks like a young Jeff Gordon.
He looks like my ex-husband.
And so then Trayvon Jordan, the second half of Waves and Curls, came out. So that kind of just changed the business a little bit.
Yeah, that made me happier.
Yeah, that pumped the crowd up a lot.
You go down and then you come back up.
And then in the number 17 spot, we got Dan the Man.
Like I said, you come up, you go down.
But he was going to stretch that 90 seconds as long as he could. Because he came out, he grabbed a chair, and he sat outside the ring. He's like, I don't need to get in there yet. And he picked his spot, and then he went in and did what he had to do.
Which was actually
that's
clever.
Not a bad move to do.
But not just that, it builds excitement and anticipation, because with him, you never quite know.
Yeah.
You just never know.
And who was the first person he went after? You want to talk about long-term storytelling?
That I don't know. I didn't.
First person he went after was Bobby Ocean. No, Bobby Ocean wasn't in there. Bobby Ocean wasn't in the match.
I think you just gave a spoiler.
No, I did not. Bobby Ocean was not in that match. I could have swore he went after Bobby Ocean. Maybe that was somewhere else, something else. I'm sorry, I screwed that all up.
It happened. There was a lot going on.
There was a lot. Then in the 18 spot, come Jordan Rowe, the grapple god, and he, this kid, I'm telling you, he's got chutzpah. I'll give him that much.
He's got something.
And the number 19 spot was I guess it was supposed to be. It really wasn't, but it was for a lot of everybody else. Was the surprise of all surprises.
Your son has your back.
Yeah. AJ Cruz made his return. And I popped huge, and I kind of knew it was coming.
I popped, and I didn't know it was coming.
The whole place erupted when AJ Cruz, because he's a former tag team champion. He's a former PvP heavyweight champion for 5 minutes. And he retired. And the place the PvP family was very sad when he retired.
Yes.
We were.
Because
and he's super duper talented.
Love his family.
He's a great guy.
Talk about popping. His kids certainly did.
Oh my God.
They are his biggest fans. With good reason.
And seeing him come out was great. And I love AJ Cruz, and that's kind of why his son lied to me. So that's all right. I'll let it go sooner. And then in the number 20 spot, because he won the spot, was Big Bacon Brad Hollister. Again,
bum.
Big Bacon Brad Hollister came out. So, what a rumble. I mean, just the names alone in that rumble. I mean, yeah, it's most of everybody that was on that card, but the surprises.
How great.
The surprises were unbelievable. I mean, my two... We'll get to that. We're going to do something a little bit different today. But that Rumble match was huge. It was. I mean, just the fact that what happens if you win is huge, because it's the first time you're going to win the title, and we all, at least 4 of us in the front row. In our front row seats, all thought that this match was going some other way.
Yep.
Damon next to me, he kind of called it, but he said he didn't think that it was going to be who it ended up being. He didn't think it was going to be him. He thought it was going to be somebody else. I had my pick on who it was going to be. And
hey, you know what? With Cypher, it being his day, I was worried. I
thought he was going to be a surprise 21st entrant, and he was going to put himself in it.
I wouldn't have put it past him.
And then, you thought that it sure as hell was going to be Bacon, and
I did not want that for the
But
record.
you thought it was going to be because of all the way things that were going.
Right.
Chris Silvestri had his thoughts on what was going to happen. And Nick Tangway, he had his thoughts on how it was going to go. He come over and he's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know what to think. Because you got 20 guys in there. Less than 10 of them are viable winners.
It made it even more exciting because it was possible for any person that got in there to walk away with it.
And that's the joy of a Rumble.
But it would have been, if it didn't have that overhanging knife, that swinging knife that...
You call Cypher a knife?
Yeah. Well, he is sharp, I'll give him that. But if you didn't have that extra element of... I was holding my breath through the whole thing. That, okay, so whoever wins this, are they going to lose it? Because Cypher's day, that I thought sure as shit that no matter who won, if it wasn't one of Cypher's guys, he was going to rip it off them.
We're going to have an East Hampton screw job.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And I thought that as soon as we walked in there and saw Cypher gloating that it was
so
his
happy.
day,
Yeah.
I thought, oh no.
But match is happening. People are getting eliminated one after another. Jordan Rowe, most eliminations. He got 3 in a row.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he took 3 out in a row. He, boop, boop. Then Jordan Rowe and Bacon kind of worked together because,
there was a budding
there's a bromance there, I
thing,
guess.
yeah.
They bonded over purple and gold, the colors of the closers, and
they bonded over being bums.
And at one point there was Cypher came running in the ring, and then we got another surprise where I don't know that it was really a surprise, but Matthew James came running in, and Matthew James and Cypher were tussling in the middle of the ring.
It was a surprise that you were thinking, I didn't remember seeing this on the card.
Yeah, this card subject to change. We're going to throw a match in the middle of a match.
That wasn't a match. That was a brawl. That was
it was a pull apart.
I don't think they like each other.
No, not even a little bit. And so then it came down. It boiled down to Big Bacon and Scotty Wilde. Scotty Wilde was in there from number 1.
Nope, from number 2.
No.
Oh, you're right. I apologize.
Scotty Wilde was number 1. Big Bacon was number 20, and Scotty Wilde hung in there for that whole match, and it went for a while too. That was a good lengthy match.
And I kind of checked out a little bit because I thought it doesn't matter what happens.
You were so determined that it was going to get a screw job.
I thought that Matthew James, he did a good job taking Cypher out, because I think that if it hadn't been for that, Cypher would have been there and it would have happened. So then
there was the eliminate. They got to where they're trying to eliminate each other, and Scotty Wilde pulled it out. He really did. He got him over the top rope. He was shocked. Alex Cypher was shocked.
Yeah, everybody.
The room exploded.
Yeah.
We just, everybody, everybody was excited for Scotty Wilde because he's been right there and missing it, and he finally got it. And with the possibility of getting screwed out of it, and it didn't happen, it was a fair and square. There's no way you can screw him out of this win.
I held my breath until Cameron said, "Thank you, everybody, for attending." And when I started seeing people actually break down the ring, I said, okay, I guess he won. That was the only way
we had he got Matthew James put the strap around him. It looks good on Scotty Wilde. He got lifted up on the shoulders of some of the other wrestlers, and we had all the fans got around the ring and started pounding on the ring. I don't know who started that.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Yeah, I did. So, oh my God, it was unbelievable moment. It really was. It was a happy exciting moment. It was how you wanted to send everybody home. They went home because we've been sent home a couple of times now. Not so happy. This time, pretty damn happy. He proved himself. Scotty Wilde proved himself, and he deserved it. He's earned it, and he put in the time, and he put up with a lot of bullshit to finally get there, and he did it.
That's the truth.
He did it. So that's the closing of the 20-man Rumble of PvP. That being said, I want to do one little thing different. I want to know, who was your surprise entrant of the Rumble, or favorite entrant of the Rumble, favorite or surprise?
I can't pick a favorite, but AJ Cruz was a surprise because I wasn't as aware of what was going on behind me.
Yep.
So when he came out, I was shocked and thrilled because he's been one of our favorites.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
from show 3 because it was our Halloween show is when he came back from a long time injury.
Right, an ankle injury, I believe.
He painted up. We didn't know who he was, but all right.
Yeah, we were in, and like I said, his family is lovely, and I was happy for them to be able to see him have them to see him go. But it just good. It made me excited. It made me excited because we just enjoy him so much.
I was gonna say AJ Cruz. I really was, but
what's the problem with saying that?
No. I think I wasn't so surprised. Because I kind of.
So your favorite.
He'd definitely be my favorite return, or my favorite surprise entrant. But the one that surprised me the most was Ryan Waters.
Yeah, that was shocking.
And when Ryan Waters, because you're not going to be surprised by Marshall or Doc.
No disrespect.
No, you're not surprised by them coming out because they've been kind of
we just
in and
talked
out
about
of
the last show.
They've been around a bit. Aaron Morrison, I'm not really surprised by it because he has a huge connection with those, with the guys and everything. So I'm not overly surprised by that. And just because Nico Silva was there doesn't mean that Ryan Waters was going to be there.
That was my favorite interaction of
but having Ryan Waters come out there, I haven't chanted Gatorade at somebody in so long that it felt good to the point where I did it again today online, and I said, I'm sorry, I had to do it. And he's like, no, you're right, you did. It was good to see Ryan Waters again. Yeah, I don't know why I like the guy, but I do. And so that out of the way.
And not for nothing, Ryan, I get irritated when I hear him say Gatorade. So I am indignant on your behalf.
That all being said, now your performer of the night.
My performer. Oh, this one is tough. For me, it's between three people.
Yeah.
It's between Nico Silva.
Yeah.
It's between RJ Rude.
Yeah.
And Sammy Diaz.
Yeah.
Those are my three. But if I have to pick one,
you have to.
It's going to be RJ Rude.
RJ Rude? That's respectable. I mean, he's proven himself.
There's something about this kid that resonates within me.
Yeah.
I think it's just because it must have been, his world must have fallen apart when his tag team dissolved. He didn't know how he would perform as a singles player.
Right. He was always a tag team. They started together as a tag team.
And to have the rug pulled out from underneath you.
Yeah. And
then to do so well at it. I love a good underdog story.
Yeah.
So, and he's such a sweet kid too. Yeah. He really is. I mean, he's young enough to be my son. That's why I can call him a kid. Yeah. And he has a smile that lights up a room.
Yeah.
And he is just a good egg.
And he's super talented.
And his talent, when I see him come out, I get really excited because I know it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that it isn't with anyone else.
Oh, you just know that that's what you're going to get out of him.
But his style of wrestling, I think, is something that it excites me, and I really enjoy it. Yeah. So that's for me.
For me, just because of how everything went for the night, performer of the night for me has to be Scotty Wilde for finally getting that championship. It's not on that nobody else performed any certain way or anything like that. It's just that, I'm happy with all the guys that were on that card. Mm-hmm. He finally overcame all the hurdles that have been thrown at him for a while, and this night was no different. I mean, they started out.
He clawed his way to that victory.
Literally. So, yeah, it for me, it's Scotty Wilde for Performer of the Night. Finally getting that championship and holding it. And hopefully he holds it for a little while. I hope it's not just a one and done thing. I hope he holds it for a little while. And if anybody can do it, it'd be Scotty Wilde.
Right.
Now, match of the night.
I
of the evening.
don't think that we should include the Rumble.
No, I don't either, because there's like 10 matches within that. If you know, just single matches.
If
match
we,
only.
that automatically becomes.
Well, that's kind of why I did this entrant thing. You know, I was kind of thinking that way myself. Was you know, we'll give that its credit, and now those first 5 matches, you know, your match of the evening.
My match of the evening is Logan Black, Sammy Diaz.
All right, well, we're done here because I picked the same thing. that's my match of the evening as well.
That was a joy to watch.
I can't argue with that and I won't, because that was my pick right from the start. As soon as I saw that match, I'm like, no, and that was early in the card too. Like, there's nothing that's going to top this match. They did everything that they possibly could do, you know, and you know, I got to dance around the ring with Logan Black at the beginning of the match before, you know, in his entrance,
man,
which is always fun. It's my guy, man. And
he is a wonderful human being.
And so, but all that aside, that was one hell of a wrestling match. It really was. It
had everything.
It had everything you needed it to have, and
it was worth the hype. It was worth the wait.
And I know for a fact, because he said it, that the guy that was sitting next to me, Damon Farr, that was his match of the night too. He said that before the main event started. He said, "Well, that Logan Black, Sammy Diaz match was my match of the night."
As another favorite human of ours, it was fire.
Yes, it was. It was one heck of a match. So, I mean, I think wrapping this up, I want to thank everybody at PvP for one hell of a show. All the people that work behind the scenes, some of the people that weren't there that still work hard at making it happen, from promoters to, you know, all the people that, you know, do what they do, and all of the wrestlers that were there Saturday night. A lot of them worked double duty. They all, you know, did their matches, and then they were, you know, in the Rumble as well, which is no easy feat, you know, to be had. It's so they really proved themselves to be professionals.
I want to thank PvP for making. I have horrible social anxiety, and for me, PvP feels like home. No matter where they are, they make you feel welcome. They give you good show, but from everybody that sits around the ring to the wrestlers to the backstage, they make you feel welcome.
Yep.
They make you feel safe.
And it's like you said, like from the moment you walk in the door, whether it was character driven or not, you get a hello and a welcome from Alex Cypher. Yes, it was in character, but in some way, shape, or form, he meant it. You know, welcome. You know, again, character driven, I'm sure. But I got a handshake from him. You know, thanks for coming. You know, but then you get to the front desk, and you're welcomed by 2 smiling faces who, let me help you find you where your seats are. You know, here you are on the list. You know, 2 saints beyond saints. You know, in Dakota and Nicole, and then, you know. And then you got your ring announcers, your refs, who we see one of our favorite refs, you know, Miggy Stripes, and he sees us coming down the stairs, and he's in the middle of doing something, and he stops and gives you a hug. And says, "Oh, thanks for coming." They thank you for coming. Like, dude, I'm here to watch you. You know, I'm here to watch the wrestling. That, you know, you don't need to thank me. But we thank them, and they say, "Oh, you don't need to thank me." It's a dance, you know, but.
And it's genuine. We mean it.
And they do too.
We're not just blowing smoke.
No, and it's what it's about with that indie wrestling community. It's not just PvP. We've seen it at other places in different ways. You know, every place is different. Every place has a different vibe. We've said that before. But if you go enough times, and I say enough times being more than twice, you're welcomed. You know, yeah, the first time you're going to be welcomed, but once you've made a return and you get your face seen a couple of times, the fans welcome you in, that's a hard nut to crack sometimes. You know, you can eat if you're too quiet. You're going to be drowned out. But if you join in the fun, and you know, that's why I
open for the experience.
And that's why I say go more than twice, because you need to be able to know who to cheer and who to boo. And that first time you could be very confused, because you may be near people that cheer and boo for the wrong people.
I'm sorry.
But I do it too. You know, we have our favorites, whether they're good or bad. But that's also where this mindset is, where my motto kind of comes from, where we build them up, we don't tear them down, which is, you know, okay, so you don't like them. You're supposed to boo them, but you don't have to be a dick about it. You don't have to be negative. You don't have to get mean. You don't have to get personal. You just boo the character. You don't boo the person. And,
right.
You know, you can say, you know, you're dumb or you're this or you're that, but you don't need to get, you know, racial or any of that kind of stuff. And you know,
you don't boo something that is innate and cannot be changed.
And if you do those things, you will quickly find yourself pushed out of the community that we're talking about, because we stick together, and that's between the fans and the performers. We protect our own, and we've seen it. Sometimes they weasel their way back in, but they'll be quickly pushed back out again. It's about positivity, you know. It really is, and equality, and we accept everybody, you know, and no matter, heck, the weirder you are, the more apt we are to accept you. I say we as a whole community, and like I said, it spreads from promotion to promotion. It's not just PvP.
How lucky are we?
And we said it in the last one. You know, New England is a melting pot of indie wrestling.
Of incredible talent
and
incredible people.
Get out there and support the indie wrestling. Go buy that ticket. You know, you don't have to try to go to all of them. But
I mean, once you get hooked, you're going to want to, and you'll be sad.
I've said it in interviews. Wrestling's my drug of choice. But you know, there's worse things that I could be into.
Yep.
But wrestling is, if you're into wrestling. If you're not into wrestling, then go support what you're into.
Right.
But you know, this is what we're into. This is what we're doing. While I'm got a minute, we're trying to evolve this a little bit. I want to work on a couple of different things, but I'm going to throw this out there. We're keeping this name The Breakdown and Review. My other videos, I've never really had a title for it. My videos of my pictures, and that's kind of what it's been called, and I don't want to keep calling it that. What we're calling it is Ringside Shots, and hopefully that works, and we'll you know, just so you know, those that do follow it, and you know, that's what that'll be, is when you see Ringside Shots, it's going to be the videos that I make of my pictures. And I hope to put some different content out there. I know I keep saying that. It's a lot of work and time, and I don't have a lot of the time available. So I'm trying to do what I can. I'm working on it. This is a work in progress. It's and we're gonna get there. And thank you for any new subscribers I've gotten over the past couple of weeks. Now it's kind of maybe little to some people, but it means a lot to me. So please like, comment, subscribe, share it. Please share it. And if you like what you're seeing, comment on the channel. then that way I know what people are liking and what they're not liking, so I know what to work on. The comments on the Facebook page, yeah, that works, but it helps more on the YouTube. It really does, and I need that there, so I know what to do, what to build on, and we'll definitely see you at the matches. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you.